Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Geek Coast channel. This is your Wizarding Demigod, David, as your host, as always, and I hope you're all doing fantastic wherever you are in this universe. Sorry that this episode took a while to put out. Of course, Christmas came by and had to celebrate with family and some friends, so it was a bit sidetracked by that. And I hope you all also had a great Christmas wherever you guys are. And I hope you all got all the gifts you ever wanted from friends, family, and that jolly red guy named Santa. Anywho, this will be another structure episode like the one before, where I'm going to do a spoiler-free part of the episode, followed by a spoiler part of the episode. So the first half of the video, I'm going to try my best not to spoil. I can't make any promises. I'm only a demigod, guys, so that half-mortal me will always screw up somehow, some way. But I will do my best, and of course the second part of the video will be the spoiler part, so it'll be pretty much me going more in detail of like stuff I like, stuff I dislike, all that cool jazz and fun. So, anywho, let's get started. So, this episode's gonna be on The Witcher. I'm gonna talk primarily, just generally of the show itself. So, plot details and everything else within like some of season 1, which season 1's been out for a while, so if you haven't seen The Witcher by then, you're gonna get spoiled early on at least season 1 if I happen to say something. And season 2 will be definitely in the spoiler part of this video. So anyway, let's get it started. So I love this show. And the reason I love this show is because I went into this show knowing nothing about the Witcher universe. I never played the games, never read the books. I knew nothing about the lore, the history, the story, characters, anything and everything from this show. So I was basically going in blindfolded, and honestly, this is amazing. If I remember correctly, the author of The Witcher, or maybe one of the authors, I don't know how many authors have there been, because I know there's been different book series of The Witcher, but has really credited J.J.R. Tolkien of helping him create the world building, which we all know J.J.R. Tolkien is the grandfather of all world building in fantasy, especially modern day fantasy. Like, the Lord of the Rings itself, like the universe, is gigantic, and not just from the movies themselves. Like, the books bring out so much more lore, knowledge, and for him to use this influence for The Witcher is absolutely amazing. Like, you can tell, at least in season 1, that there is some kind of history, there's some kind of lore going on, and you can see it very well, especially with like some of the characters they introduce, uh, certain factions that are in it or kingdoms and stuff, and also hints of like other potential stories where you learn a little bit more in within season 2, especially with I think the elves. But yeah, this show's absolutely amazing. The writing's great, the story is awesome, the actors are just absolutely amazing. I can't really tell you which actor did really bad. Like, they all did fantastic, especially Henry Cavill. Like, come on, that man is amazing. Great actor, love him. The actress that plays Yennefer is also awesome. Great actress. And then of course the princess, which I'm not going to try to say her name. I'm not going to try to say any other characters' names because I know for a fact I will butcher them, no matter how hard I tried, and I don't want to keep redoing recordings of trying to say their names right. So I'm going to do my best. Anywho, it's great. It's fantastic. I like I said, I love the show. The special effects are awesome. The monster designs are really cool. Really cool. Very unique, very imaginative monsters that you would see in a like dark fantasy realm, and it was really cool. And I love the dark and grittiness of the show also, especially with some of the characters. Like Henry Cavill's character is very gritty and dark, but also a golden heart kind of guy at the same time. So it was really cool. And the show also gives out like more of a the good guys are not always the good guys, and the bad guys may look bad, but they're maybe not that bad and stuff like that. So you can see like different political elements, moral behavior elements within this series. It's a cool series. It's a very cool dynamic series, and kind of makes me want to play a bit of the video games and maybe like look up couple of the books and read them because this is a really cool universe. I like it a lot. Very, very a lot. Especially in season 2 where they just basically expanded even more and I'm like, "Holy crap." So this is now a larger world than was portrayed in season 1 and it's really, really cool. And the history too, like I said, is really cool. If you can make a really good fantasy world, lore, history, and stories are the way to go within that realm. And they will make and break how you want to do like a fantasy series or a book or video games. Like games like Fable and what's it? Dragon Age have good like lore base within their universe, and it makes you feel that this is real, that you can be in it, and it's really cool. So, like I said, kudos to the showrunners and the writers of incorporate that into the show and make you feel like this could be, something really cool to envision that this was real. Like it makes you feel it's real. So it's really cool. I really enjoy this show a lot. And I'm excited for more of Witcher-based shows and maybe movies and stuff. I think they got possibly coming out soon. Anywho, that's pretty much the general thesis and my thoughts on it, at least spoiler-free wise. So this is now we're into the realm of spoilers. So this is your final warning. If you have not seen The Witcher season 1 or 2, primarily I'm going to talk about season 2 a lot. This is it. This is your turning point. Pause the video, watch it, come back, or if you don't care, continue watching. Whatever works with you. I'm not going to try to dictate to you on how you should, watch your TV shows. Even though, yes, watch The Witcher. It's awesome. Anyways, this is it. This is it. So, season 1 was pretty much Henry Cavill's character destined to be with the basically the princess of a kingdom, which laws of surprise, which I'm not 100% sure what that even means or how that works, which I might have to look that up because I'm kind of interested in it now. But yeah, and it's just pretty much him denying it up until a certain point in season 1. And in the end of season 1, once the Princess Kingdom finally falls to the Nilfgaardians, I think I'm saying that correctly, which are basically the main bad guys of the show, they finally meet. And season 2 picks up after they meet. And basically, Henry Cavill's role has changed from basically being a monster hunter, which the Witchers are basically monster hunters, where wizards modified their bodies in a way to defeat and kill monsters. And the way I really compare them to is the Spartans in the Halo game series, where genetic modification and other stuff made basically super soldiers. So Witchers are in fact fantasy super soldiers. So that was actually kind of cool, and I like that a lot. Especially it shows their training, which there was an animation movie that's kind of like a prequel tie-in to the series itself. Kind of shows the training, the horrors of becoming a Witcher. So it was kind of interesting, like learning that lore and that aspect right there, and kind of see Henry Cavill's character of like why the way he is because of his training. And it's just now him trying to figure out how to protect this girl who has some kind of destiny, some bigger destiny, which I will talk about later on in this episode. And also, at the end of season 1, also you have Yennefer joining the wizards and a small army of the, I guess, like Northern Kingdoms, desperately defending a choke point from the Nilfgaardians invading the Northern Kingdom. And it was Yennefer finally accepting, chaos magic as a way to defeat them, which is weird because like the magic system in the show is also unique too. Like it's mainly chaos based, and you kind of have to control the chaos. And those who don't control it and use chaos are kind of like seen as like criminals within like the Wizarding Brotherhood or whatever they are. So seeing her doing that was like kind of cool. Like she literally burned the Nilfgaardian army to the ground. Like it was basically seeing Smaug destroying Dale in The Hobbit. So it was pretty cool. And later on, her fate was left unknown. She was going to be dead or something, and we found out she does get captured by the remaining Nilfgaardian army, and one of her wizard friends who turned code and became a part of the Nefgardian kingdom, was basically keeping her as a prisoner and trying to return to Nefgardian territories, when all of a sudden they get ambushed and you found out it was the elves. And what's pretty cool about this ambush, it was a unique ambush I've never seen in a show like that. Because usually in most ambushes you just see, arrows or someone just jumping out of nowhere and it becomes like a gigantic melee. But this one was really cool. You just see like soldiers get hit by spears with ropes and they just get pulled away violently. So it was kind of cool. But yeah, it was the elves. And you learn more about like the elves and also more about the history of was I guess called the continent. So the history is pretty much the elves were the original inhabitants of the continent, and they had I guess like their own kingdom or kingdoms, and somehow a great conduit or portals open up and all of a sudden humans arrive and they thought they could like live together eye to eye, and it turned out, which kind of buns me out a little bit because this is a trope or a cliche in a sense that keeps happening with the elves, besides like maybe one or two different fantasy series or movies or novels where basically the elves lose their kingdom. They're now treated as second-hand class citizens. They're primarily gathered in woods and stuff as like just like small outposts here and there, and they're trying to want to reform their glory that was their kingdom. So I kind of hate seeing that, but sometimes, it is what it is. But still, it's pretty cool because they still have their own like unique way. Like apparently through like I guess like interbreeding with humans, elves lost capacity to breed and make babies. So seeing something where they talk about like, oh yeah, by the way, the leader of our elvish clan or people is actually pregnant, and that's like their one giant hope. So it was kind of cool. Anywho, there goes into this underlying story where Yennefer, her Nefgardian wizard friend, and then also the pregnant elf, I guess queen or leader, whatever she is, fell into some kind of, I guess in a sense like a trap or side quest or something like that, where they meet this witch spirit that's trapped in a cottage, and in order for them to either get away or defeat her, they have to like kind of accept her terms in a sense. So the elf queen obviously was like, I want have this baby. The Nefgardian wizard wants basically some kind of control, which they were temptations by the witch herself. So that was actually kind of cool. And Yennefer just wants to just sees through it and try to make a deal, and in the end could not. And you found out Yennefer can't use her magic anymore. It was basically taken away. So seeing her without her magic was actually pretty cool, and for her to basically learn to do things differently was kind of cool. Especially the one fight with like a mage that like snaps his fingers and he does like a flame attack, and he was pretty cool. I liked him a lot. Cool villain. And her knowledge of like his magics and ability helped her to get a good friend out of trouble. So it was really cool. Really, really cool. The storyline also with Henry Cavill character and the princess was also pretty cool too, because now they reach the Witcher stronghold, where she basically trains to become a Witcher, in which Henry Cavill is like, look, this is the way I'm going to teach you how to survive, and you're going to do it. And it's kind of cool because like it steps into this thing where he's now becoming the father figure to her, and to him she's becoming like a daughter figure. So it was kind of seeing that aspect, and that way of the story he's going was pretty cool. And also meeting the other Witcher schools were pretty awesome too, and they were kind of treating her like the little kid sister. So it was kind of awesome, like seeing like a small family dynamic forming with her to help improve her character and stuff. Especially like the training sessions too were really, really cool. How they're trying to like in a way tell her like, hey, you can't do this, you can't be one of us, and later on turns out you got this, keep going, we believe in you. So it was like kind of cool. And also another one of my favorite characters, the Barb, came back. He was awesome. I loved him in this season. Really, really cool. And he played a really cool, interesting part where so the Northern Kingdoms at the end of season 1 were kind of seen as like, these are the good guys, but in fact they don't seem like good guys. So the elves started to siding with the Nefgardians because they were promising them like, hey, we'll give your lands back, blah blah blah, if you fight for us. And Northern kingdoms see that as like a big betrayal or something, and so they start basically persecuting the elves within their kingdoms, and you just see them being enslaved or killed or beat up. So it just kind of makes you feel like these northern kingdoms are not as good as they seem to be against the Nefgardians. So it was kind of like an interesting view to see this show in, is that it's not like in Lord of the Rings where you can clearly like these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. In this, you can be like they seem like they're good guys, but they have their own bad morals where they don't seem they're the good guys, even though they're fighting a evil kingdom. And the story keeps on evolving around these monoliths that I guess are around the continent, and these monoliths plays a crucial role with the princess, which I think at the end of season 1 she destroys one of them, which one of the wizards who was like investigating this and later on Henry Cavill kind of team up with him for a bit to learn more about the monoliths was like, this is impossible, this can't be happening. And we later found out certain species of monsters are acting weird or looking differently or doing different things, and all of a sudden you found out they're coming out of the monoliths. Like, they're known monsters, but these monsters are now completely different because they're coming out of the monolith. So it was kind of interesting and cool, especially one of the monsters, which was a tree monster, which that was one of my favorite monsters. Just the unique idea of this like tree being monster with these roots that can come out of nowhere, and then also because I guess he came out from the monolith, he can basically implant like a seedling in you, and you become a monster himself. Which that was a cool battle within the Witcher Keep, where they unfortunately have to kill one of their own. And you can tell with Henry Cavill's character that it deeply saddened him that a brother had to die, unfortunately, and by his hand, too. So it was interesting. But, yeah, and later on they got killed by a crazy centipede-ish monster, which was equally, like, terrifying, scary, and also really cool. But, yeah, like I said, the monster concept in this show was awesome. I loved it. Truly enjoyed it. I can't wait season 3 to see what kind of creatures they can think of. But as we later on continue to learn more about the monoliths, we keep on seeing glimpses of basically the witch in the cottage, which she turns out to be a underlying main boss at the end, in which Yennefer later confronts, or actually not Yennefer, Henry Cavill kind of later confronts her about what's going on and why you're trying to, leave the princess away, because there's a point where she took her away from him in a crazy awesome fight scene too with other guys, including the flame wizard guy too. Cool fight scenes. But yeah, and you find out that it's because of her, and you later see that she managed to escape from the cottage to the princess and basically controls her, and the princess is trapped in some kind of repeated dream, so she can't escape. And it was really cool. And you see her like basically murdering like a couple of the Witchers before finally getting figured out by Henry Cavill himself. So they had a really cool fight scene too. Also with the Nefgardian Elven alliance, you later on found out there's some kind of political unrest between them, and then once the baby is born and lived, the elves choose they don't want to fight anymore. They want to settle. They want to get back to making their own people again, like breeding. And then later on, the elf baby dies. So yep, there's baby killing in this show, which not totally surprised how dark themed this show is. But yeah, that happened, and the elves go into this rage where they basically go to the parts of the Northern Kingdom, and I will tell you this. Her doing the magical spells on each of the doors where she knows there's a human baby suffering, and then all of a sudden she does her spell, and you all of a sudden hear the cries of the babies just go silent, and then you hear the parents literally crying and stuff. Like, I was like, holy crap, you are powerful. And we'll talk more about their story in a jiffy, or actually in a few, because now we're going to go back to the fight with the possessed princess and Henry Cavill, and you found out she can control the monoliths, and the monoliths are actually not like conduits of power, but actually portals to other realms. So I thought that was really cool that this idea that magical portals from different realms can appear and happen kind of reminds me of Dragon Age, where you can go into the Fade, which is like a dream world where demons and monsters live. So that was really cool too. I thought that was interesting and awesome idea that this show, or from the games and the book series, did. And you see these like cool monster fights, so you get to see Witchers, fight as hard as they could. You see a few of them die. Henry Cavill doing his best to save her, and also Yennefer too. And then you found out that what she wants, the possessed princess wants, she wanted to go back, and Yennefer made a choice to sacrifice herself and get in her needs for her to leave her, get her possessed, and then her, Henry Cavill's character, and the princess travels to, I guess it's like a realm of chaos or something like that, and you see her spirit leaving, in which at that point before even that happened, I thought Yennefer sacrificed herself and she was going to be killed off by the end of season 2. I was like, oh, that's sad. But nope, she was fine, and you see her, the witch of the cottage spirits leaves and transforms into this like beastly warrior leading a cavalry charge or something like that. And you finally, the princess was pretty much Henry Cavill's character's like, hey, you're the only one that can get us out of here. You need to do this. And she finally did it at the last second. And you also learn, too, a bit about her, the princess, is that she has a certain elvish blood in her. And later on in the series, before everything else, her blood can make more Witchers. So it was kind of cool seeing, like, the conflict of the Witchers of, like, should we do this and extract blood without her consent and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool. That was a really cool aspect. And and also you find out she's somewhat elvish, and it turns out she is also the elvish destiny of the elves to be like this great warrior that's going to lead them to their salvation or to their kingdom. So there's going to be some very interesting things going to be happening in season 3 from I can predict. And I think they're going to be pretty cool storylines, pretty cool fighting, learn more about the continent. I know there's another Witcher show coming out, which is going to be a prequel to the show, which will expand the universe even more, which I'm actually kind of excited for. I think it's going to be really cool. But yeah, those are my thoughts and feelings on The Witcher. Like I said, I truly love this show. I really think Netflix definitely hit a gem with this one. Not that many shows out there can do what they can do, and it's really cool. I'm enjoying it a lot. But anywho, guys, that is it. And I hope you enjoy this. As always, give this a like, a subscribe, and a share. Let your friends know about my show. Share it to anyone. Helps the channel out, and try to make people give this amateur podcast guy a try. Anyway, guys, that is it. I hope you have a wonderful night, and as always, stay geeky, my friends. Surprise, surprise, everybody. This is your Wizarding Demigod, David, and normally I do like a little poster to show what's the next topic I'm going to talk about, but not on this next episode. So yes, this is going to be a surprise episode and a treat for all of you. I've been in talks with a friend of mine the past couple nights, and we decided to do an episode together. She is really cool, really funny, very geeky and nerdy, and also very well known in her movie pop culture. So I'm very excited to have her on board, at least for the next episode. Maybe she'll do another one. Maybe she'll want to do this more often. I don't know. Anywho, it's going to be an exciting treat for all of you. And hopefully it'll be, good fun time for all you guys to listen. So anywho, guys, as always, stay geeky, my friends.